Fear stops us from achieving our true greatness. Are you a professional woman who is feeling stuck, unmotivated, or burned out? Are you worried about your wellness? Are you letting fear stop you from crushing your goals? If you answered yes to any or all of these, then this is the podcast for you. Dr. Charmaine Gregory, night shift emergency physician, burnout thriver, and wellness champion, along with everyday heroes just like you, will explore how to face fear in our lives and emerge victoriously.
Hello. It is Dr. G. Welcome to another week of the Fearless Freedom with Dr. G podcast. So happy that you are spending time with me and with the Fearless Freedom Tribe. Love you lots. Check it. Such great news this week. We have crushed the 14,000 download milestone, and we are on pace towards hitting 15,000. Oh my goodness, I am beside myself with excitement. Thank you so much for helping making this podcast a huge success. I am doing the happy dance. If you can't hear it in my voice, I hope you really do, because I'm definitely doing it. And so thank you so much for subscribing to the podcast, listening to the podcast, sharing it with a friend or two, and leaving a 5-star rating. All of that means a lot. So if you are supporting a podcast, you are interested in potentially podcasting, then guess what? If you're looking to start a podcast, now is a great time to do that. Why? Because more and more people are listening to podcasts. More and more people are waiting for your zone of genius, your voice, to be in their ear as members of your tribe. So in that same vein, this past week, the podcasting launch course professionals got started. Now, there are still 2 seats left. If you are interested in jumping in, now is the time. Jump in now, because it's only been 1 week's worth of content, so you can still catch up. But after this, you'll be on the waiting list, okay? So this iteration of the podcasting launch course is amazing so far, and the group of people that are involved in this are absolutely phenomenal. So I know we're going to have a great time. If you want to get started, go ahead and sign up at signup.podcastinglaunch.com. That's signup.podcastinglaunch.com. So signup.podcastinglaunch.com. And so, truly, there are so many reasons that people start podcasting, and every single reason is basically going to make your life that much better. It is incredible the benefits that you get from podcasting. And with this course, I am going to teach you everything you need to know to get started, and you will walk away with 5 episodes ready to go. You won't have to do this alone, because why? You'll have me by your side every step of the way, along with the support of the other participants in the course. So there are limited spots available in this class on purpose, because I wanted this to be very intimate and for this to be a great experience. So you need to jump in quickly if you want to catch it at this introductory price, because this is the last time that I'm running it at this introductory price. So take advantage of being an early adopter, take advantage of being an early mover or first mover of this lowest price possible, and go ahead and do it. So sign up .podcastinglaunch.com, and I look forward to seeing you in one of the 2 seats that's left. And so just imagine what will happen in October. So in October, you literally could be sharing the launch of your show with the world, sharing your zone of genius, your voice with your tribe. So why not? So in the vein of podcast and things associated with that, promotion in particular, pride maybe, a little bit of swagger, I am looking to populate the tribe's swag store. I need your help, however. I need suggestions from you as to what kind of things you would like to have in the swag store, because I want it to be a reflection of you as a member of this particular tribe. So shoot those my way. You can hit me up on Instagram or wherever. I'm on Facebook, I'm Instagram, I'm LinkedIn, wherever you would like to hit me up. Definitely let me know what kind of swag you'd like me to order for the swag store. And then more great news. The podcasts from the Podcasting Launch course are starting to come out. The amazing women in the course have created incredible content, and their shows, let me just tell you, are pure fire. So check out the 3 shows that are out and show them some love by subscribing, leaving a 5-star rating, sharing, and leaving a positive comment. The first show is Pivot and Bloom, and that is with Dr. Mila, and she brings it. She shows you how to effect change in your life, how to flourish, and how to keep doing it over and over so that you grow and you absolutely bloom. So definitely go and check out her show. The next one is The Drama-Free Workplace with Patti Perez. Now, Patti has been in the business of transformation, transmogrification. I don't know. Is that a word? I'm not sure. But she has gone into corporate environments and completely allowed for the environment to completely change, the relationships within the environment to change by implementing the concepts of the drama-free workplace. So you don't want to miss her show. You want to get all of that fire because it is plenty. There is plenty. And you definitely want to be a part of that. And then the newest addition to the lineup is Living at Your Finest. And that is with Dr. Babs. And Dr. Babs brings such amazing content because she talks about things that are related to wellness of the mind, wellness of the soul, and wellness of the body. I mean, that is a huge trifecta. And so definitely check out Dr. Babs' show. It's called Living at Your Finest, and she does a phenomenal job. So these are all the 3 shows hot off the press. Definitely give them some love, and I appreciate you doing so. Now, are you interested in being part of the next class? So say, for example, you just could not get into one of those 2 seats this time around, and you are still interested, but you just can't do it right now. No problem. There is a waiting list, but it is filling fast. I filled this course based on the last waiting list. So you definitely want to get a part of that, be a part of that. And so you can do so at ferventlyfitwithcharmaine.com/podcasting-launch-course-waitlist. So if you are busy and you are too busy for a facilitated course like this, then, and you still want to start your show, no problem. We have a solution for you, and it is called the Podcast in a Box. This is for you. All you have to do with the Podcast in a Box is literally provide the audio for your first 5 shows that you want to launch, and launch with a bang. And guess what? We do the rest. We do all the heavy lifting and get you set up to win. And you can find out more about this at www.ferventlyfitwithcharmaine.com/D as in dog, F as in fish, Y as in yes, -podcast-marketing. So why don't you get off the fair fence today? Because why? Your tribe is waiting to hear your voice. Okay. Now, today we have a very amazing guest, and her name is Elizabeth Pampalone. She is a speaker, an entrepreneur. She is an expert marketer, and she is going to drop some pearls on us, help us through how she made her way to get to that position, and some amazing ways in which you can expand your content as a small business owner, as an entrepreneur. So stay tuned and have a listen to all of the things that Elizabeth has to share. Hello, Fearless Freedom family. Dr. G is here and super excited because this week we have Elizabeth Pampalone with us, and she is going to tell you about what she's up to and who she is. Elizabeth, you want to tell the tribe who you are?
Hi, yes, my name is Elizabeth Pampalone, and I'm actually an entrepreneur. I've been in business in multiple different businesses for the last 13 years, And I currently own and run a marketing company called Beyond the Cause, where we work with small businesses and nonprofits to help them create 1 year of marketing in just 5 days.
Did you say 5 days?
Yes.
Awesome. So that's a major content expansion, I'm sure. Is that about right or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's a lot of content in 5 days, but it's really fun and it's really doable as well.
Awesome. Yeah. I know that there are a lot of people who listen to the show who are entrepreneurial minded. Maybe they haven't started yet, but maybe they are, on the journey already and are trying to figure things out. So what do you think is some really advice that would be doable for someone who is, say, just starting out? Like, what kinds of things would you suggest that they do as far as marketing?
Well, the system that I created, which is called Absolute Marketing, it's actually broken into 5 separate pieces. So if you can follow along with those 5 separate pieces and create one thing each month, one thing each day, however you want to do it, it can really help you move forward and give yourself some good deadlines to accomplish. And the 5 pieces would be the 5 pillars of marketing: be branding, website, social media, blogging, and email marketing. So if you have all 5 of those pieces, you're really going to be able to set yourself up for a really successful business in the future. But if you start with just one, I would say start with the brand.
Awesome. And the brand, you guys, is, guess what? You. People don't necessarily think about this, but you are your brand. You incorporate it, and that is so important. We may do things that are related, we may become part of other entities, but in the end, what the customer is looking for is actually you, right? So you want to make sure that you brand yourself, and you do so in stellar fashion. So everybody knows that I always talk about this because I am a big proponent of You Incorporated. And I feel like no matter what associations we have, we should always walk away with ourselves as a brand. So if we decide that we are no longer going to have an affiliation with a particular company or a particular entity, we still have the power of our personal brand to rely on. So I talk about this all the time. So the tribe is kind of used to that. But so tell us, so you said that the branding is very important. So what kind of things can people do to ensure that they highlight or that they empower, uplift their personal brand? Like, what kind of things can they do? Like simple things.
A lot of people think that a brand is mostly just a logo. Obviously, your tribe is a little bit more educated, which is good on this particular topic because you talk about it all the time. So I'm glad you do because it's very important. But a lot of people think that they have to have a logo and that should be enough. But really, it comes down to the messaging. And the message is really what your essence is, the essence of a brand. It's that deep emotion piece that really says, hey, this is why I'm passionate about what I'm doing. This is why I'm, here on this planet to do these things and to promote these types of objectives. And so if you're able to get that messaging down, now you have to also know who needs this messaging. And if you don't know those 3 things, which is who you are, what you do, and who you're going to tell all this to, those 3 pieces are really going to make you create a full brand. And then of course the visual representation, the logo and the colors and all that stuff is just secondary to who you are, what you do, and who you're going to sell it to or who you're going to share it with. So those 3 pieces are my main thing. And if you can get those 3 down, you pretty much got easy sailing the rest of the way.
Wow. So who you're talking to, what was
who you are, what you do,
who you are, and then what was the what?
What you do.
What you do, and what was the last one?
Who you share it with.
Who you share it with. Nice. Okay. That's important. And then the overarching thing is the why, right? So why are you even doing this to start off with? Because we talk a lot about how we've talked in the past about, having a very strong why or impetus for your business. Because if you don't have that, then you have no solace or no place to go when times get tough with your brand, with your business, and you may quit. You may quit anyway. But you got to have some kind of solid foundation.
Yeah, and I actually put that why into who you are. Because
Gotcha.
if you weren't who you are, you wouldn't be doing the things you're doing. And so I really kind of fold that in. A lot of people talk about just the why. I know Simon Sinek talks about the why, like that's his big thing, which is good because a lot of people, he explains it like so well. A lot of people don't know how that really works. But I fold it into the who you are because every person has a talent, a skill, something that they are passionate about, something that they are really good at. And they can utilize that as their force for moving forward and creating something amazing. So I usually fold that into the who you are because it's something, so dig for it. It's not there like on the surface. So I like to use it as part of who you are.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. Yeah, I bring that up because I know that people tend to like not do that deep work, which is really what you have to do at the beginning, right? Because if you don't do that, then what ends up happening is like when you hit the bumpy bits, you're just kind of like, okay, why am I doing this again? Like you don't have that thing to reach for. Like you don't have the thing that you have posted on the bathroom mirror that's going to be like your driver. Like for me personally, my why, it actually are 3 individuals, right? So my children are my why. And so every time I look at them, I can't quit because I'm like, I'm trying to create a legacy for you guys. Like that is my why. And so that's a very powerful thing. So the times when I am facing failure or I am having a setback, I look at them and that's the thing that pushes me forward. So the why really has to be something that's going to bring you to tears in order for it to be completely powerful and for it to be meaningful to your brand. Like that's, as a personal brand, I feel like that's really what you need. You need something that is going to compel you emotionally as well as cognitively so that you can continue no matter what. I don't know. Is that kind of how you envision it when you're relaying it to your clients? I don't know.
Yeah, when I work with a client on those 3 pieces, really their why kind of comes out in their conversation and they don't even realize that they're doing that. And it's really an awesome thing for me to be able to say, oh, so your why is this? And they look at me and go, oh, I guess so. I didn't really realize that I was telling you all these things. And so that why comes out, even if they think that the why is the money or they think the why is, the fame or I don't know, whatever their like initial thing is, that they kind of see that surface piece. But really there's that deep why that comes out in the conversation. So when we actually spend time on a brand, I spend an entire 8 hours. And pretty much the last piece is the logo and all the fancy stuff. That takes minutes to create, minutes to set up. But that initial piece, which is getting that conversation going, getting that kind of coaching it out of them. And it's really always there. They just don't always see it right away. So like you said, that deep work, that's really important. And I agree with you that, a lot of people don't really start there, but it's good that, we're able to kind of share that with our clients and help them to see that just a little bit of digging can get you so much further than you were before.
Awesome. And so I would love it if you should, because you basically are an entrepreneur. You have established yourself in this niche. And so there has to have been some fear involved in either establishing a business, deciding whether you're going to do this business, so let's talk about that. Let's talk about the fear that you, Elizabeth, have faced in regard to entrepreneurship and this particular life's work.
Well, 13 years ago, I actually went through a divorce at the age of 20. And it was very jarring, very disruptive to my life. I had my life, planned kind of, well, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to accomplish. And I just had it all kind of rug pulled out from under me and just everything was gone. I lost my home. I lost money. I lost cars. I lost everything that pretty much I had. And my parents said, well, we're moving to another state. We were in one state in the US and they said, we're moving to a different state, halfway across the country. And I was like, I guess I'm going. I didn't really have much else to do. And I was really scared. Like I had nothing. I had no job. I had no prospects. I had nothing. And after a couple of months, my mom says to me, you have to do something. I had been applying and applying and applying. I was getting turned down. I was too qualified or I was underqualified. Like I was never in the right spot. And finally, she said, you just need to pick 2 things you like and make a job. I didn't know how to do that. I didn't know how to make a job. I didn't know how to run a business. I didn't even consider myself a business owner until about 5 years in. I thought it was just kind of a thing I did to make money. That was just how I survived. And so I said, well, I like old people and I like computers. And I was, 20, so everyone was old. But I went to the senior centers and I just said, hey, do you got a computer lab? You got some people who want to learn computer stuff? And they said, yes. And they started paying me to come there for 2 hours a week and teach. And then it was like, oh, well, can you come fix my computer at my house? And then I would go to people's homes and fix their computers. And it just kind of grew into that. But every single day was, and still sometimes to this day, what's going to happen with this? How am I going to make the next level? How am I going to move to the next thing? There's always that like constant fear there. Not that it's a bad thing. I mean, I feel like it's a good motivating thing for me that, there's like this always question mark there. But initially in the beginning, I literally started with nothing. And it was like, where am I going to go? What am I going to do? Like I had nothing. So going into a situation where you create a job where there was none, and you just keep adding to it and going, I guess this will work. And oh, maybe that thing will work. And oh no, that's not working. Got to take that out. So I feel like that every day with this being an entrepreneur, there's this main underlying fear factor. And I think that's part of why we do what we do, because if you ask any other entrepreneurs, it's almost like a thrill-seeking kind of thing. We never know if one day we're going to be a millionaire or the next day we're going to be poor as dirt and be on the street. Like you never know. So yeah, I think there's always like a fear factor being an entrepreneur, but I think that's what makes it fun.
And so when you're faced with that, so you're an adrenaline junkie, like me.
A little bit,
sounds
maybe.
like, yeah. And so when you're faced with that, so like when you have a situation where you're like, okay, I have to make a big decision that is going to be in regard to the progress of the business. So maybe that you're trying something, it's not working, and then you're shifting gears and you're going to try something completely different. Like, how do you go through that? Like, how do you process that? How do you deal with that fear that's associated with that? Because you're going to have it, right? So how do you work around that, work through it?
A lot of mindset work, and a lot of entrepreneurs, mindset work is kind of almost secondary. Unless you're in that line of work already, we're going out there, we're doing things every single day that we think are going to move things forward, that we think are going to move the needle on that money amount, that we think are going to pay the bills in the next month or whatever. And we're constantly just busy, and we're constantly focusing on what's next. And we forget sometimes the mindset side of it. But when we actually sit down and focus on the mindset side, it can like make that fear lessen. You're not so nervous. You're not so worried about it, but it can actually be more of a motivator rather than like a nervous thing. So I've learned how to do that over the last 13 years. And it's been a long journey though. I mean, I didn't really feel like that fear was motivating me rather than like chasing me, like the lion chasing you kind of thing, until about year 10. And even now, I've had some major failures even this year. 2 years ago, we tried to set up a retreat, and it was a several $1,000 retreat. It failed. I had to get over that. Like, that was a fear. Like, is it going to work? Am I spending money for nothing? Am I, all these questions. And then it just fell flat and just nothing. And money was lost and all kinds of stuff. So I waited a couple of years and I tried again. And then COVID happened.
Oh my gosh.
And this was going to be a $10,000 seminar, 2 days, the whole deal, food, catering. I mean, everything was getting in place. We were buying centerpieces. I mean, it was like big, and then just not happening. And so that fear of failure is always there. But like I said, until about year 10, which was a long time.
Yeah.
It took me that long to kind of realize that it was more of a motivator, and that when those things happen, you can change the mindset to, from, well, we lost a couple grand on that deal because it didn't happen.
Right.
To, okay, well, now we have that time free. What are we going to do with that time? Are we going to, take a vacation and actually have mindset time to like regroup, or are we going to hustle and like make something else happen, do something different, not another event, but like find more clients or work with more people or be on more podcasts, whatever that is. So looking at it more as an opportunity than seeing it as the failure that most people would see it as.
Awesome. No, that's great. That's a great pro. And it's interesting that you say that a lot of times as entrepreneurs, we tend not to focus on the mindset, which is so crucial, which you just explained is extremely crucial, because you said that yes, it took you a while to get to that place, but once you got there, it was something that allowed you not to necessarily be bulletproof, but basically have the mentality, the wherewithal to be able to overcome whatever obstacles put in your path. So you planned this retreat and it was not what you expected it to be. But what did you do? You said, okay, I can learn from this. And then you moved on to the next thing. Then you planned another situation, did not work out because of the crisis. But then you said, okay, let's just pivot. Let's not give up. Let's just pivot. Let's just make it into an opportunity, which is fabulous, because a lot of people right now, as we're in this, they're not seeing this as an ultimate opportunity, which it is, because so many companies, so many businesses have started during the downtimes and have blasted out into the stratosphere once things have subsided. So this is the time not to be cowering and thinking, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? I can't, like for me, I'm not getting on stages right now, obviously, but I'm not sitting there saying, oh my God, I can't get on the stages. How am I going to make an income? No, I'm thinking about other ways in which to do that. And so if you have that mindset, which you have to prepare for, you have to feed, right, on a daily basis probably. And that is what's going to get you to the point where you're essentially unstoppable. Like you're like, yes, I am fearful. Yes, I might fail, but I'm going to just try something else because I know this is an opportunity and not not a complete stop sign. So that's a great pearl. Yeah. So thanks for sharing that. So you may want to just say a little bit about what kinds of things you do to bolster your mindset. Do you listen to podcasts? Do you read books? What do you do?
I actually have built a little bit of a support system through some friends and family. And when I see something from the bad angle and I'm looking at it like, oh, it's doom and gloom, what's going to happen? Because I have that natural tendency to look at things pessimistically. I get that from my dear father, but he did that all my life. And so I kind of like adopted that a little bit. And so when I get that, I kind of go to that friend or that person in my family or somebody that's in that little support group and say, oh, this is happening. And I kind of just vent a little, and they know this is going to happen. They are like comfortable with me doing this. And I just kind of vent it out. So then it's off my mind. And then they're like, oh, well, that's too bad. And maybe you should try, they might give some little anecdotal thing or some kind of like solution. But usually just talking to someone else and just voicing it out, it's like so therapeutic. And then even if they say something, it might trigger something from me. And I'm like, oh, yes, I can do this. And then like I have a new path to like take off on. I actually was looking for a coach a couple of weeks ago because I just was in a really like just a rut. I was just having this really hard time with one thing. And I was like, I just need to find a coach. I just got to find a coach and just find somebody and be done. Like they can just fix it for me. And I know that's not how it works, but like in my mind, that's what I was thinking. And I went through like 5 different interviews of like different coaches. And I just couldn't. I was like, no, not you. No, you're not the right person. No, this isn't the right fit. And then I went to one of my support people and I said, oh my gosh, I'm having such a hard time. And I just kind of was like, coaches, blah. And she goes, oh, I could look at it for you. I was like, oh, okay. And she's like, yeah, maybe you could try it. I was like, oh my gosh, that's such a good idea.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, so I kind of have that little support group and I utilize them, a lot for those kind of things. But sometimes also I will like go swimming, or I will go for a walk, or I will go and do something outside of my little bubble. As you can see, I have like a little bubble here, and get myself out of the situation. Or like sometimes like I'll go to IKEA, like just go walk around the 12,000 square feet or whatever it is for like an hour. Exactly. And just like look at everything and think about my organization and my house. Like just think about something completely different for a whole hour or something, just to get my mind off. And then come back and go, okay, now I can think about this more rationally. Now I can see this better with, clearer perspective. Or maybe I had a brilliant idea while I was looking at some glassware in IKEA. I don't know. So those kind of things really help. So I have that support group. And then sometimes I literally just am like, I've taken a mini vacation. It's an hour of me. I'm just being by myself, kind of thing.
Awesome. So it sounds like support, like surrounding yourself with those who are going to be supportive of you, and then knowing when to do a reset, when to do a mental reset, just kind of stepping away and then getting back to it with a fresh mind. Awesome. No, those are great pearls, because let me tell you, people are definitely looking for, options on how to deal with this, because more and more people during this time obviously are looking into getting things going that they have been having on the back burner, or they have something that's going and they're looking for how can they pivot and make it better, different, change course, etc. So those are some fabulous pearls. Thank you for sharing those.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. And so tell me, so now, so you told us a story, which thank you for sharing your story, because that, that sounds like it was a very difficult time for you. And as a young person having to deal with that huge shift, it had to have been difficult. There's no doubt about it. And then you are very fortunate, though, because you had parents who were able to kind of help you through that. So that's a blessing for sure. And so now you did, the school of hard knocks, essentially. You went out there and you hustled and you created your business. And then you told us how you got started with computers, and you were going into the aged homes and helping out the citizens there and just building up your business that way. Now, how did you go from helping grandma and grandpa with their computer literacy and with their computers to being a brand specialist, and a marketing genius? Like, how did that happen?
Well, I've actually been building websites since I was 14. So that's where it all really started. And I learned coding languages. I went to college for it. And then I got married and got divorced. So it kind of all followed that way. And I was planning to work in the industry of design, web design, marketing somehow. But I was going to work for a company. I never had a mind to make my own company. It was go to college, get a good job, get married, have kids. Like, that was the path. And it didn't work out that way at all. And so when I got to Florida, when we moved, and I started this new business, which I didn't really think was a business, then I started to teach the older people. And then someone told me about I should teach at high schools at night, which was older people, but also like people that were working that needed just computer literacy help. And there are people that needed to find jobs, because this was like right at the height of the recession. I mean, this is 07, 08, 09. Yeah. So that was huge. Like, I need to learn Word. I need to have it on my resume, things like that. So I was teaching them. So they were like a little younger. Then someone said, well, you should teach adjunct at the college. So I went to the community college and I did that. Then I was teaching there. So I was teaching a lot of places. And then I found some of the local organizations and national organizations like SCORE, and they help small businesses. And also SBDC, they help small businesses, and SBA. So all of these organizations that needed teachers, and pretty much for free. And I would volunteer and I would teach small business owners, because I had my own business at this point, kind of more full-fledged after a few years. And I realized that I had to have my own website, which I built myself. I had to do my own marketing. I had to have my own email list. I had to create social media. And I just figured it all out for myself. And then I streamlined it for myself, because I needed to be out there. We're fixing computers, building other things, doing things with people, teaching. I didn't have time to sit all day and be on social media and sit here and like create posts. And so I just streamlined it for myself. And that's what was the beginning of Absolute Marketing. And then once I started meeting more business owners, I was like, oh my gosh, I can just tell them how I do this and they can do it. But they still didn't get it. It was like a disconnect, because I was younger and I had more like technical knowledge. Like, it just came to me much easier. So then I was like, okay, well then they can just pay me to do it. And then I just kind of branched out from there. And then eventually, after 10 years, we sold the computer company. Me and my second husband, we sold the computer company, and we worked together for about 4 years in that company. Our sole income. He did that, and I did websites, and that was the business. We like worked together every day. And it was awesome. So yeah, that's how I got in, like transitioned over. But really, the web design and the marketing was something I had done from like as a teenager. For friends and family and people that we knew, their little businesses, and then just kind of was like, I'm going to go back to that. I really like that. The computer thing kind of happened. It wasn't necessarily like a main, this is what I'm going to do for my life, but this web thing was something I had since I was 14, and I really wanted to make that my career.
Oh, that's a beautiful story. See, I love that. People love stories. That's great. That's a great backstory. I love that. So now, how are people going? So this will be in the show notes, but for those who are listening who don't have access to the show notes right now, let the tribe know how they can reach out to you to get help and to be a part of this amazing marketing plan that you have put together.
I have a website called Beyond the Cause, CAUSE.co. And you can also just Google my name and you'll find, so much stuff about me. There's so many articles and podcasts, and my websites show up. So if you just Google Elizabeth Pampalone, you will also find everything about me, and you can connect with me that way as well. I'm on LinkedIn and, Facebook and those kind of things. But yeah, beyondthecause.co is our main website, and it actually has pricing and how everything works and how we work with our clients. And we also work with a lot of nonprofits, which I'm really proud of. We introduced that 2 years ago, and it's just become a really awesome thing that we're able to help any nonprofit of any size, even the smallest ones. So we're excited.
Oh, that's fabulous. Fabulous. Yes, great. And then, and so everybody can reach out to you that way. So you have like contact info, everything on the site.
Absolutely.
Fabulous. Fabulous. Okay, awesome. Well, this has been such a great conversation. Thank you for sharing your fears with us and how you maneuver around them, through them, over them. We really appreciate that. It's always great to hear from everyday heroes just like you who are doing it, who are making it happen. And despite, the fear that we may feel, despite obstacles that may come in our path, because it's just so encouraging to hear your story. And so now we're at that part of the show where we do our fill in the blanks. Are you ready, Elizabeth?
I'm ready.
Okay, awesome. The first one is, if I am fearless, I will
persevere.
Love it. Love it. The next one is, to me, fearless freedom means
the ability to keep going, even though fear may be always with me.
Awesome. And then last but not least, my battle cry is,
this is temporary.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you so much for taking time out and sharing your wisdom and all the things that you've learned over the years with the tribe. We really appreciate it. And, welcome to come back anytime.
Well, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure talking with you.